Today we brought the all-new 2024 Lexus GX 550 Overtrail to our Peninsula Proving Grounds to see if this is the ultimate luxury overlander. That's coming up right now on Driving Sports TV. This is the all-new 2024 Lexus GX 550, and because this is based on the global Land Cruiser Prado, you could say that it has off-road capability baked into its DNA. Fun fact, according to somebody inside Toyota, they actually tried to get a trademark on the word overland. They wanted to call this the Overland Trademark Edition, but since that didn't work out, hello to the Overtrail. Today we're going to put all of its off-road features to the test here at our Peninsula Proving Grounds, where we have an all-new trail that is surely going to see what this thing can do. Before we get started, let's check out all the features on the vehicle that Lexus sent us. Under the hood is a 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6 engine. This produces a peak 349 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to a 10-speed automatic transmission with a Torsen-based full-time four-wheel drive system. EPA rates economy at 17 miles to the gallon in town and 21 on the highway. That underscores one of the biggest differences between this, the Lexus GX, and the upcoming Toyota Land Cruiser. The Land Cruiser has a turbo 4-cylinder with a hybrid powertrain. This has a twin-turbo 6. Big difference. Price of the GX 550 Overtrail starts at $69,250 US, which isn't really that bad considering what you get. Now, Lexus does say that a hybrid will be coming later for the GX, but we don't know the exact powertrain layout. It's also interesting to note that even though the GX 550 here is all new, it's still a body-on-frame design, which is an exclusive feature for the segment. Lexus says that it's still the best choice for capability and durability. Because it is body on frame, it's the frame that soaks up the abuse from the trail, isolating the body of the vehicle along with the passengers and the cargo. With the unibody, all the shocks to the vehicle get channeled into the entire body of the vehicle, which leads to early chassis fatigue. Of course, there are benefits to a unibody build, but I think for the intentions of this vehicle, body on frame was the way to go. The standard tires at this trim level are 33-inch Toyo Open Country all-terrains. I think they look great, and I like this 18-inch wheel. I think it's overall a really nice look. They are sized at a 265/70 R18. And are they peak rated for snow? Yes, they are. The Overtrail also comes standard with underbody protection and recovery points, a rear locker, as well as the multi-terrain select and crawl control systems. Towing capacity of this trim level is 9,096 pounds, or 4,125 kilograms. Though the GX 550 is available with 3 rows of seating, the Overtrail and Overtrail Plus editions come with only 2, and there's a very good reason for that. If you're going to be doing any overlanding, you want maximum cargo capacity, and this has a ton of it. Not only is it deep and big, it's also tall and wide, which makes loading very easy. Back here we also get AC power with 120 volts, tie downs, tools, and under here we get a full-size matching spare. This also has one more notable feature back here, and that is a pop-up window. The benefit of this, of course, is the fact that you can reach in and get your gear without opening it up and having everything fall out if you're on a hill. The second row is stadium-style seating with lots of room for full-size adults. But now it's time to check out the inside. Biggest difference between this and the Land Cruiser from Toyota is really right here, this screen. With the new Land Cruiser, you get a widescreen display and physical buttons for your aircon. With the Lexus, you get the virtualized buttons, as well as these little twisty knobs that look pretty fancy. Down here, there is also some design stuff that's a little bit different, but like the Land Cruiser, they've taken all of the MTS and crawl stuff from the roof here and put it down near the shifter console. And I think that's actually a really smart move. It makes a lot more sense to put it right here where all your drive stuff is. And we have lots of drive stuff to deal with here. We have different drive modes for while we're driving around town, everything from custom to Sport Plus to Comfort to Eco. And then there's also MTS, Multi-Terrain Select, which is an advanced traction control system. If you're in 4 high, you get the options of deep snow, mud, sand, dirt, and auto. Auto is a new mode. If I shift into neutral, go down to 4 low, go back to drive, now my MTS options are different. I get rock, mud, sand, and auto. They're more appropriate and tuned to the speeds and type of stuff that you're going to do in 4 low. Lastly, there's the DAC or crawl button. If you're in 4 high, it's hill descent control, or what they call DAC. If you're in 4 low, it turns into a crawl control, which is like a cruise control system for off-road. It takes you very slowly, methodically, and it has extreme wheel braking from side to side to help shift traction around. In addition to that, we have a center lock for the torsion differential in the middle, and then we also have a locker for the rear axle as well. There is no front locker on the GX. For that, we're going to rely on the MTS system because it'll use extreme wheel braking to shift power left and right to make sure that you have the best grip. So what are we going to do today? Well, we've already done a full review of this vehicle at the National Press Launch down in Arizona. So today we're going to do what we didn't get a chance to do while we were in Arizona, because when we were there, it was unseasonably wet and the off-road course that Lexus built got completely washed out. So couldn't wait to get it back here to our own proving grounds out in the Washington Peninsula. If you watch the show regularly, we recently built a new off-road section that we took a 4Runner through. Here at our off-road test course, we are constantly changing things, making them bigger, better, and hopefully more interesting to watch. We are going to be adding a new Ridge Road access to the challenge course coming up here, but that's not ready yet, unfortunately. We just started working on that. It won't be ready for at least another week or so, so maybe we can bring the GX back and take it through that. But the course we do have has been modified. It is slightly longer than what we've done in the past, and I'm really excited to take this GX through it. With this new change course, I did take my Ranger Tremor through it. So let me just kind of give you a preview showing you how the Tremor did. First, we drive into the forest. It's mostly just tight, and that's a good opportunity to test out the camera systems as well as general visibility because the trees are very close. Then we go into an offset camber section where there's holes dug into the ground to really see how good articulation is on the vehicle. Once you get over the turnabout, you can now go straight out of it, which takes you in through a horseshoe, and then you got a full throttle out over this really slippery gravel section that climbs out of a hole. After you climb the hill, you're going back into the forest, and you have that left-right power transfer system. Watch out for slipperiness, very easy to hit a tree. And then once you come out of the forest, we're home clear. There are a few differences, obviously, between the Ranger and this. They both have 4 low, which is great, but the Ranger has a much longer wheelbase. It's almost 8 inches longer than this vehicle. They both have the ability to lock power, 50-50 split, and they both have low-range gearbox. One of the biggest questions I have about this GX is articulation, because this has the new eKDSS system. KDSS historically was a hydraulic-based system that helped keep the vehicle planted and level on streets, but then when you took it off-road, it would really give a lot of articulation. Well, this is the new eKDSS, which according to Lexus is not only more reliable, it also is quicker to respond, and it is tied into the drive modes now, whereas before it was strictly a hydraulic thing and it didn't care about what drive mode you were in. So the thing we're really going to look for here is how good not only is wheel braking, but also how good is articulation for this vehicle off-road, because I did take this on city streets, and from a launch it stays surprisingly composed, as well as in the corners. This thing, even though it's big and it's tall, it doesn't feel tippy, which is something that normally happens with these really high off-road vehicles. Well, now we're going to take this off-road and we're going to see how well it does. One more thing I have to mention is that the Ranger has 9.6 inches of ground clearance with the tires that are mounted on it. This vehicle has about 8.9 inches of ground clearance, so we have a little less clearance. Also, these are different all-terrain tires. On my Ranger, I have Falcon Wild Peak RTs, which are the rugged terrain Wild Peak in an E-class tire. That means that it's got a lot of layers and they're pretty much puncture proof. These ones, they're more streetable all-terrains, but I think that this will do just fine today. Now we're gonna head into the woods here. Now this is a very narrow course. It's designed for vehicles up to about a mid-size, so this is going to be a tight fit. One thing I like is the visibility, especially with the way that the hood is designed. We have that slant in the front, which really lets me see over it. But then also you have these humps on the side that really help me position my wheels. It's really a smart design. And then further, we have these wing mirrors that are compact, so they don't stick out, less likely to hook them on a branch or something. So I want to kind of be able to crawl through here a little bit slower than just willy-nilly. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into 4 low. I'm going into drive. Oh, got to be in neutral. And now drive. Now the neat thing about the GX, and this has historically been true with the GX, is that it uses a center torsion differential. That means it actually has a differential in the middle. Unlike so many other vehicles like the Kia Telluride and whatnot that say they have a differential, those are really just clutches that can overheat. This one has a proper differential, which is lockable, which is really nice. Now, because I have 4 low up, I do have a front camera. Let's get that back up. And it's actually pretty nice. I can see my individual wheels. I can also see ahead as well as tracking lines. And I'm going to keep an eye out for those trees, so I'm not scraping anything on this prototype pre-production vehicle. Okay, there we go. Nice. Now here is the first challenge. So these cross stitches right here will be more of a test coming back out because we're going to loop around and then do them uphill. Downhill here, I'm just going to crawl over them, and we're going to look for articulation. And we can actually compare how well this articulates when compared to my Ford Ranger. So we can see just how much it's picking up those rear tires as we go through the ditches. Now obviously the wheelbase will affect exactly where the vehicle tires hang and sit, so that will vary things. Oh, oh. Feel that braking? That's MTS kicking in. Whew. It's brutal. So what was happening there is the brake system will actually grab a wheel to make sure that wheel power doesn't leach out of that wheel. So a wheel will normally spin if it has no resistance. And then basically the wheel that's on the ground, which has traction, doesn't have resistance. So all the power goes out of the wheel that's spinning. So what those brakes do is they hit it really hard, which shocks the power back into the system, which then gives more power to the wheel that has grip. It's a very effective system. In all Toyotas, they've done it for years. This is the newest generation and it works fantastic. Okay, we have a new connector here. Oop, we got a little mud that we're sliding on. Yeah, it's super slippery there. Actually, I need to also make sure that I have the right line here. Oh, I could use camera. Forgot, with my truck, I can't use camera. So let's kind of line these tires up. Yeah, so there's a big dirt thing right there. I don't want to grind this up against the dirt, but I do want to track on these rocks here. So let's try to do that. Yeah, remember, kind of just go left. Now this does have skid plates, thankfully. We might use them today. Whoa, slippery. Wow, those tires have absolutely loaded up with mud and it's making them very slippery on these rocks. Just take a quick look at things, see how we're doing on the outside. Yeah, looks like we're doing okay for ground clearance. Definitely want to cut this way a little more. Keep the wheels here on these rocks. I'll use the camera for that. I think we're good. All right. The view camera. Let's turn on auto camera so it always stays on. Now I want to align with a couple rocks over there. Use the camera to do that. I have not locked my middle or my rear. I'm going to go ahead and lock that middle torsion though. But I'm going to keep the rear unlocked. So I just don't think I need it. I'm going to listen for dinging. This has underbody protection, but it does not have rock sliders. I do have a Land Cruiser on order, which does come with rock sliders though. So if you want rock sliders from the factory, you don't have to don't get a GX, get the Land Cruiser, because it has it as an option. We're doing okay. Now, I haven't heard MTS kick in either, so we're not even really using the MTS system. Okay, let's just go wide here. See what we got. There we go. Sliming to the right. But I do have my wheels on rocks now. We should go up and over. Oh yeah, we did it. Now we're just going to go down this last little leg. I'm going to continue down the rocks. Again, listen for grinding. Okay, and good. Let's head back into the woods. Now for this section, I actually do want some wheel spin, so I'm going to go ahead and do MTS. Actually, let's go ahead and switch to 4 high. And MTS, let's do mud. There we go. So that'll help the wheels spin, and traction control is not going to interfere. That way we can fling some of the mud, especially off that back rear tire, as we go up and over the sand. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah. There is one more feature that I want to show you here, and that is crawl control. I have the center locked. I'm going to go ahead and click onto crawl. Now right now it shows DAC because I'm in 4 high. That's the hill descent control system. Switching it into 4 low, switches over, back into drive. Now when I hit DAC crawl, it gives me crawl control. We can start from a low and go up to high. It gives us 5 different speeds. So let's go ahead and see what this does in this super slippery mud. There's the camera system there to help navigate when I try to avoid the pits. Now what this will do is it's kind of like a super version of the MTS system, where we'll be using wheel braking to get us through complicated situations. I'm going to turn it down, see if it can kind of work itself out. Do we have any grip? We have no grip. Okay, sometimes it's momentum, right? Right. Let's back up a bit here. Now we'll try. Okay, so crawl control is still on. We're going to go into these little muddy troughs. Going to increase speed. So this is maximum crawl mode. And we are moving forward at about 1/4 mile per hour, if that. Now I can add throttle if I want. And in fact, I think I'm just going to have to go through here. Crawl control is a cool system, but everything has limitations, right? I think this slick mud is a limitation for crawl. So I'm going to go back just to MTS. Let's turn off crawl. Go back to MTS. Make sure we're in mud. Mud. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to, let's back up a little. And I'm just going to basically fling myself up this, use momentum to get through the muddy stuff. And wheel spin. Gotta watch out, I can slide sideways. Yeah, okay, we got through. Now I gotta watch for the sideways slide into the trees. Okay, we got over that little stump there. Okay, so we're gonna continue on now in crawl mode. We're gonna be in low and just, it's gonna do all the driving. I just need to make sure that I don't run into a tree. Then as wheels lose grip, the braking system kicks in, shifts power left to right or right to left. Makes it really easy when you now have enough grip for the tire. Okay, if I want to go faster, I just crank it up a little and we roll out. One of the concerns with this vehicle was that the new EKDSS might not give enough articulation in off-road conditions, but I think the articulation was fantastic. That was one of the best features of this new vehicle. So that's the 2024 Lexus GX 550 Overtrail. I think overall this is a fantastic package. The only concerns I really have are regarding geometry, specifically because of these side steps. They are a problem, especially when we hit the rock course. Also the tires. They're fine for regular all-terrain stuff. However, they're really not good for mud, and they don't pretend to be a mud terrain. But today's conditions were extra slippery because it's basically been raining nonstop up until today. But I think overall, I don't know if you can do better for the price with something that is as capable and as comfortable as this vehicle. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share videos. We make them for you. Hope you enjoy them. Oh, and now we're gonna go do an overland adventure with this thing.